Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Warframe video. You guys know how this is. When we're in Warframe, we're usually doing versus, or I'm showing you guys something. That's literally all I literally come in here for usually. Or we're just hanging out and having a good time, you know. So, today we are back in the Somacorm, and we have Zephyr with us today. And Zephyr, it's a pretty good frame. I do like Zephyr. Zephyr was one of those frames I originally didn't play much just because I didn't really like how she worked and everything. But since then, since the Prime came out and everything, I've started to learn to love her more. So so Zephyr is essentially the bird or quote unquote wind frame. So obviously, if you guys couldn't already tell, because she is very bird-like. But yeah, so that's essentially what Zephyr is. So if you guys like to mess with the wind and stuff, she's awesome for you. But overall, like frame-wise, I would say she does quite a bit of damage. Um, she kind of, she would be crowd control maybe, just maybe a little bit. I wouldn't say like a ton, but probably a little bit. But yeah, so she is a pretty good frame, I would say. I don't think she was reworked. I don't think she was one of the reworked ones. No, I think it was Amber and Balbon. And who was the other one? Someone else got reworked too. Oh, Wukong. Those were the three that were most recently reworked. Zephyr has been not reworked or anything like that. So, nothing's really changed on Zephyr. But, as I said before, Zephyr is essentially the golden... It's essentially the bird. Warframe. So, and as you guys could tell, my Zephyr Prime is Golden Bird. We like to call them by what they are. So, regular Zephyr is Golden Bird, and then or Prime Zephyr, I mean, and then regular Zephyr is Burb. So, anyways, let's get in here. So, guys, this is my Zephyr Prime, as you guys could already tell, I'm sure. But, yeah, I have not changed her colors at all. This is the colors I've had on her since I've had her. So, I'm probably gonna keep her colors. I love her colors. They're beautiful. I love them. I love the gold accents on her. And if you can't already tell, you can definitely see the bird in her just by her, like, her helmet and how her arm wings are. So, yeah, she's awesome because of how she looks, I think. She's probably one of the best looking primes, I think, honestly. This gun right here is her gun. This is the Jabrona Prime. It is a shotgun. It's a pretty good shotgun. I wouldn't say it's like my all-time favorite shotgun. Corthus is my all-time favorite shotgun, I would say. Or probably, Plasma or Accelera. Those three are my top favorites of shotguns. This one is a pretty good shotgun. If you guys need a shotgun, I do suggest this shotgun. But, being that it's Prime and everything, but we are getting Corthus Prime with Tatiana Prime, so you guys will have an awesome shotgun as well with her, so I'm excited for that one. But yeah, this is her weapon. I believe Orthos Prime was her melee weapon as well. I'm not quite sure though, but I think it did come with her. It may have came with someone else as well, which is very possible, but I obviously have a skin on mine, as you guys can see. It's doesn't look like a regular one, but yeah. So, anyways, as always, their abilities are on the right-hand side. We got Tailwind, Air Burst, Turbulence, and Tornado. As you guys can tell, she's very wind-related. So, like I said, she's a bird. So, it makes the most sense that she would have wind-like abilities. So, yeah. So, let's get in here. And I have my birdie type carrier with us, so we kind of match. Just for shits and giggles, you know. Alright, so I think maybe we should do Infested. Ooh, we can have Karupo! That's right, I've been scanning more often recently because I've been bringing helos with me. So I have a few more enemies now that we've been starting to scan. Yeah, we even got a freaking sentient. Look at that, guys. And then this guy right here. So I've been, as you guys can tell, I've been scanning a little bit. So I think we should go with chargers. We haven't pulled out chargers in a while. So I think we should go with chargers. So let's max out the chargers here. And then let's go. Alright, so first ability is Tailwind. And Tailwind, hold on guys, I probably should kill these guys a little bit here. As you guys can see, Tailwind is essentially just us gliding around. That's essentially what it does. So I see it more used when I see people with Zephyr. I see it more used to get to little locations and stuff. That's essentially what people use it for. See, you can go up, you can go down with it. You can essentially go anywhere with it as long as you aim right. But yeah, it's definitely more of a ability to use to get to places faster. That's essentially what it is. So it essentially gives you the feeling of flying, you could say. And as you guys can see, it's really fast. I actually think they may have changed that. It kind of feels like they changed it. Because it used to be just her like going straight up and everything. But now she looks like she's actually gliding and everything. So they may have changed it. Which is kind of interesting. But yeah, that's essentially what Tailwind, guys, is. So it essentially just lets you launch around to get places to places a little faster. I think it knocks over enemies if they're like near you and you use it. I believe that's pretty much all it can do. But I also haven't pulled out Zephyr in a while, guys. So be kind to me because I haven't been using her very much recently. So. But we'll figure it out. Alright, so let's do this again. Alright, then we have Turbulence. Now, Turbulence is a fantastic ability, and I will tell you why. Or no, we don't have Turbulence next. I think we have Airburst next, actually. Yeah, Airburst is the next one. So, Airburst essentially throws... She like makes this ball. They started being really loud. But essentially what she does is she throws a... Oh, look at that. See, we can glide. Holy crap. That's crazy. I've never realized that. So if you trigger it, and then if you hold your action button again, so like the button that activates it, one of the buttons that activate it, the main one, so R1 for me because I am on a PS4 controller, you can actually hover in the air using it. That's really cool. I've never actually figured that out. See, this kind of stuff, when I come into the solo court and I'm just playing around and show you guys the abilities and everything, we figure out things like these. And it's actually kind of crazy, because then you're like, wait, how have I not used this before? So it's kind of crazy, but this is one of those times apparently. But, yeah, so if you activate it and then you hold R1 when you're in the air, you can actually float there for a bit. That's actually really neat. I never realized that. That is really cool. I don't know if they changed that recently or what, but that is really neat. There you go, guys. So we learned a little secret there with, and that is Tailwind, guys, if you're wondering. So that's her first ability. And then, hold on. Let's come out here. I want to show you what Airburst does. It's kind of hard to see. But essentially what it does is she throws this, she like gathers this little ball of air and then she just throws it. That's essentially what you do. And I think you can, yeah, you can like use it to bomb your enemies essentially if you jump in the air. You probably could use like combo Tailwind with it and then Airburst, and you could probably make like a bomb. But yeah, that's what essentially Airburst is essentially a ball of air that she creates, and she just throws it like a projectile. So like a bomb or something, or grenade. That's essentially what air burst does. So it does some damage, and it also can stun enemies a little bit and throw them around a little bit. So that ability's just for fun, really, I think, but it's up to you, really. Okay, and then let's do it again. Okay, so we got Turbulence, and Turbulence is essentially a free, as you guys can see. See, I can stand right in the middle of the enemies and not get hurt. So that's essentially what Turbulence is. So she essentially makes like this big pocket of air around her, like in front of her. So it's kind of like a shield, sort of. So you kind of have a bonus shield. And you'll see the effect explode in front of you. Like, you won't see it once it's activated, but it essentially gives you like this area of shield in front of you for a while until it unactivates. That's essentially what it does. So that's what Turbulence does. So you do have some sort of defense with her. It's nothing major, but I do use Turbulence a lot. I pretty much activate it first thing when I have her usually, just because it gives you the bonus little immortality for a bit. So you can essentially protect yourself with that ability. So keep that in mind if you guys have trouble with her. So yeah, so Tailwind is pretty much for faster travel to places. Air Burst, you throw it like a projectile and it just throws the enemies around and can hurt them. And then Turbulence is an extra bit of shield for you. So yeah, so that's her 3 abilities. So let's reactivate the enemies here, and then we can use our final ability, which I would say is one of my favorite fourth ability. I mean, a lot of frames, their fourth abilities are awesome, so it really just depends how you play and everything. But this one is really cool. So I do have an augment mod for this one, but we have Tornado. What Tornado does is it makes little tornadoes. It creates tornadoes. That's what it does. Yeah, see, so you guys just see these tornadoes swirling around. So that's what a tornado does, guys. So it creates these tornadoes, and they just like spin around the area you activated them, essentially, and then they fade away eventually. I'm gonna do it again. And the longer you hold it, obviously, if you hold it a little longer, you'll make bigger ones. But I have like fire damage on my Orthos. You guys can see this tornado is now orange. So these tornadoes can take in effects that you have on your weapons. So say you have fire on your weapon, or radiation, or burn. It will actually transfer into the tornado when you attack it. I always do that when I do my tornadoes, just so it can give some extra damage to the enemies. But yeah, so that's what essentially Tornadoes is. So she's pretty self-explanatory, I would say then. If you just looked at her abilities and you kind of looked at them and watched them happen, you can figure out what they do, literally. So she's not really hard to understand at all. Like I said, she does some damage. She's more, I would say she's a bit more crowd control, but it definitely is fun to use her abilities. She's one of the more like fun frames to use, I would say, just because of her abilities. So if you guys just want to mess around with the enemies, she's a great one to have. And here's another thing I should probably point out as well. Zephyr is one of the only frames that she has. She can actually, if you guys haven't noticed, when you jump, she actually can go longer distance. She actually like glides when she jumps, when she's in air. She's one of the only frames that does this. So that's a good FYI for you guys. So if you need to get to some long place somewhere or something, she's a great one to have because she kind of glides when she jumps. Yeah, see, if I did this, she glides really far. So that's her passive ability essentially is that she can glide fast. That she like glides when she's in the air. She hovers a little bit longer than most frames, and that's because she's a bird. I mean, you would expect that for a bird, right? Because they have very hollow bodies and everything. So there's just an FYI for you guys. So you'll notice that she falls a little slower than the others. So she's really good for long distance and stuff. So yeah, guys. So there you have it. So there is the main abilities, what they do, and whatever else. And then those two little tips we found. So let's pull out regular Zephyr, obviously, as well. It's that time now. And I do love my golden burb. I use her a lot more than my regular Zephyr, but, you know. So, we're going to pull out regular Zephyr now. And this is my regular Zephyr. I haven't updated her of recent. I might, though, just because I feel like she probably could use different colors and stuff, but, so yeah, guys, so this is my regular Zephyr, and this is a tenno gen skin. And as you guys can see, I have the cool feathery, like, armor pieces on her. And then I have the other wing ones on her as well. So I was kind of trying to match her theme of a bird. So that's why I put those. But yeah, that armor set that has like feathers, that's like the perfect armor set for her just because it so fits her so well. So, yeah. So this is my regular Zephyr. Like I said, this is a Chenja skin, guys, so this isn't her regular skin, but her regular skin's okay. It's not my favorite. So I kind of had to mix it up, obviously, but you know how it is. You kind of have to look good while you're playing this. That's essentially what I love most about this game, so yeah. Alright, so differences, as you guys can see, her health is ridiculously high. I'm sure you noticed on my Prime version, her shield and her health were pretty close to each other, but they were in the thousands. This is one thing that's awesome about Zephyr. She is very hardy when it comes to health. She's amazing with health. So, doesn't matter how well you mod her or anything, really, because her health is always really high. So, just keep that in mind, guys, if you struggle a little bit on, like, keeping your health up and stuff. And I don't think she loses it very fast. There are frames that I find that do lose it a lot faster, like Loki, for example. I don't know why, but he loses health so fast. And his shield so fast, and it's ridiculous, because I hate using him just because of that. But, I don't think she's like that, however. But, yeah. So, just an FYI on that, she's a very hardy frame. Oh, another thing I should mention, Zephyr is one of the frames you can get in your dojo as well, guys. So you can have a free frame in Zephyr if you have a dojo that has the Tenno Lab and they're really far on it. So you guys can get for her from the Tenno Lab. It's her, Wukong, Banshee, and Bolt. Those are the 4 you can get from your Tenno Lab in your dojo. So I do highly suggest getting them. Oh, and Neza is also the other one. I almost forgot about Neza. So there's actually 5 you can get from the Tenno Gen Lab in your dojo. So I do highly suggest if you're a new player, you go grab those from your dojo. So you can have some pretty great free frames. So just a tip from me to you guys. Alright. So you guys know how this works. We just go over it again with the regular one just to see if we notice anything different. So we got Tailwind. Woo! Yeah. Okay, so her effect. Oh my gosh. Ah! Oh my god! I literally don't know how I just did that. So you guys just noticed that, right? So there's another thing you can do with your Tailwind, obviously. So you can lock it in the air. Go up in the air, and then, bam, slam back down. So I think that's probably the best thing I hardly see anyone use that. So I think this is why I'm like kind of blown away, just because I never use it either. But yeah, so you guys can actually dive bomb your enemies using Tailwind. So that explains why you can hold it down. Because you can stay and hover here for a second. And then you can use it again to bomb, which is really cool. But yeah, so there's another thing we found with Tailwind. So you can actually use your Tailwind to bomb your enemies, which is really cool. So I actually never thought about using that, but now that I think about it, the description of her ability says you can use it like that. So that is actually really interesting. So there you guys go. So Tailwind actually isn't as useless as it seems to be. So it's good for traveling to just places. So just use it once to travel fast somewhere, and then you hold it. As you guys can see, we got the indicator on our screen. And then you can dive bomb. Then you can hover, and then you can dive bomb. So that is actually really neat. I actually never realized I could do that until now. That is so crazy. But again, guys, like I mentioned earlier, this is why I do this. Just so I can find some differences for you guys. And sometimes I find something new I never realized too. So it really is. This series is really kind of fun just because of that, because you never know what you'll find out or anything. So yeah, guys, there you have it. So there's another little extra boost bonus for ya that ability can do. So so obviously my colors are a little brighter on Zephyr, so you can see the effects like around her a lot easier. But I think overall, though, the effects are going to be pretty much the same on both of them. But let's see. So let's use Airburst just for the hell of it. I actually think I have an augment mod on this Zephyr. I have two augment mods for my Zephyrs, actually. I have the Tornado one, which actually makes multiple littler tornadoes like you saw earlier. That's what happened earlier with my Zephyr Prime. And that one's on my Prime one. And then I think I have for my yeah, I have multiple air bursts augment mod for my regular Zephyr. So she has some really good augment mods, guys. So I do suggest you guys grab those for her. I believe most syndicates have them, just because she's one of the more common-ish frames, I guess. I don't know. But I think she's one of the ones you can get her augment mods a lot easier for. So, yeah, guys. So I do suggest grabbing those. I have mentioned them before in my previous verses and stuff, so. But I think we're gonna respawn our enemies again. Okay, and then of course we have Turbulence. Yeah, as you guys can see it a little better on her. You can see like in front of us, little bit of shield, extra shield we got. As you guys can see, I was just standing there for like a brief couple seconds, and I was still being protected. So you can literally see the shield around her. So let me activate that again, just so you can see. You can see like winding around us, like flying around us. Yeah, so that is her turbulence shield. That's essentially what it is. And like I mentioned earlier, I think my Zephyr Prime, she's got like a lighter energy color on her, so you can't really see it as well. But I'm pretty sure this is essentially what it looks like. So hold on, guys. I think you actually, like I said earlier, I think you can combine Tailwind and Air Burst. Let's see. Oh yeah, you totally can. So yeah, you can dive bomb them, and you can throw your Air Burst at them. So that is awesome. That is really cool, actually. So yeah, she'd be pretty good for crowd control then, in that case, because we found these little bonus things or abilities can do. Like I said, guys, if you just played with your abilities, you probably could find something cool like this out. Like, depending if you can hold it or you can swap it or whatever, you find some really interesting things. So yeah, so try to mess with your abilities more, guys. If you want to hold an ability just to see what if it does anything else, that would be probably the best thing to do. So, okay, so let's release our tornadoes. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I only have one augment mod on each of them. And I think this Zephyr doesn't have the tornado one, so we're about to find out. Yeah, those are the regular size tornadoes, so... Yeah, so that's what the regular size tornadoes look like, guys. And as you guys see, they're exactly the same as Zephyr Primes. They're just a little bigger. But that's due to my augment mod, like I mentioned like a second ago or so. Due to my augment mod, my tornado augment mod being on my Zephyr Prime, I get more little tornadoes. But for her, we get just the regular tornadoes. So yeah, guys. So make sure you go for the augment mods, definitely, because they are fun to play with, and you can find some different things to do with them. And they have like different effects and stuff, so that is one thing to consider. But anyways, guys, there you have it. There is your versus of Zephyr and Zephyr Prime. Like I said, not much difference, which we kind of pretty much figured out. Just really depends if you have any augment mods on them or whatever, and what color they are, and you know, and all that stuff. But yeah, so not much difference besides obviously the shield on the regular Zephyr isn't as good, but that's totally fine. So there you guys have it. There is your look and versus of Zephyr, the bird and / wind frame. And like I said, guys, go grab her from your dojo, because she is one of those frames. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.